Hello, everyone. So this is this is Monday. Monday, and there's a lot going on. Typically, I go through and I'll talk about the energy for the week and the energy for the day, and some of you are starting to kind of catch on to how I go through and I structure that. I do a poll at the beginning of the week for the entire week, and it sets our theme for the week, our challenge for the week, and then our learning experience for the week. And then I also pull a card for each day of the week that sets the theme for each day. And I keep track of that, and I put that in the weekly video at the very beginning, and then as we go through the days, I add those to that week, so you have a reference to go back to and click on the links that take you day by day. And I typically just focus on that, but as we go through October, there's a lot of anxiety and hostility and confusion and a lot of things going on externally and internally. And I'm going to take a little bit of time to kind of explain some of the stuff that's been going on, because there's some additional some additional things that are in play, and the more aware we are of that, the better. And so, make sure this gets going here. So one of the things that that we've been experiencing for some time now, Mars has been in retrograde since September 9th, and it's from September 9th through November 13th. And that's all well and good and fine and all of that, and it can be a little off-putting at times and that sort of thing, but there's a few more things that are going on. So for those of you that are not as aware or keep track of retrogrades or what they're about, Mars in particular, it doesn't happen very often. It's only every 2 years or so. Mars is, the energies that govern Mars are like flight, fighting, assertion, there's action, there's an urgency with it. It can also have some passion with it, so it can be very heated. When something is in retrograde, or if something is in retrograde, we need to just kind of work on just kind of backing up a little bit, reevaluating a few things, kind of review where we're at. Because Mars is action, how do we move forward? And it also can determine like how fast or how slow. So we're going to pay attention to the speed of the day and the speed of the week as we move through this. Mars also has like a male energy to it. Now we all can have male energy. I'm not going to go into too much detail there, but female have a male energy to them, just like men can have a female energy to them. And that male energy that Mars governs it can be defensive, it can be aggressive. With this and having Mars in Mars retrograde, we can there can be some issues with things can be a little bit delayed or frustrated, or there's a disassociativeness to it, a scapegoating that we can come across, kind of why conspiracy theories are so quick for some of us to grab onto. We can feel off, and we can be like looking for just an out. So anger and defensiveness, boundaries and conflicts, that sort of thing. It's also kind of good to just kind of keep in mind, if you're thinking about like launching a new project, to hold off on that until the retrograde has passed. Unless it's like really smoothing, it's really smooth, there's not a lot of bumps, it's just got a nice natural flow to it. And then I would say, yeah, go ahead and move along with that. But otherwise, it's good to just go ahead and pause on it. Get ready for it, plan for it, all of that, but don't actually like fully engage in it until we're out of retrograde. Now, and I'm probably going to go ahead and when I go through, I don't really do a lot of editing on these videos. When I go through and I do the edit on this, I'm probably going to go ahead and cut the first part of this out and keep it in the week. And then if, I might keep it for Monday, but you're not going to see me repeat this on Tuesday. So you'll need to go back to Monday or the weekly to get the vibe off of that and what I'm kind of going over here. Now, one of the other things that that we'll need to go through and just kind of talk about a little bit, Jupiter and Neptune are in play for Monday, and there's a spirituality with that and a generosity with that. So hopefully that'll kind of balance things out. So specifically for that day, now our planets, you can have some shadow effect before it actually goes retrograde, or the alignments happen, and then you can have a little bit of shadow afterwards. The bulk of this feeling is really going to happen more on the 12th with the spirituality, the generosity, the empathy for others, and kind of a selflessness. So hopefully that'll kind of have a balance with what's happening with Mars, although we're going to get into the 13th, and you can kind of see why we might end up with a wash on Monday. As far as that generosity goes, hold on to it, cling to it, because we have some other things going on. Monday can be a little bit rough, kicking off a couple of other things. So we're going to do a self-care deck. We have already pulled from the Earth Magic deck, and then we're going to be using a fun new one. Just picked it up. I just thought it would be kind of fun. It's Nightmare Before Christmas. But the theme kind of applies to Halloween as well, so we're going to go ahead and kind of play with that a little bit today, just to kind of move things around and shake up that energy a little bit. So the cards that we have pulled, this is the theme for the week. So Vision Quest and Desert, and we can associate, some people really feel like the desert's kind of a no man's land and it's difficult to survive and that sort of thing. But anybody that's actually been around the desert also knows that it's very much full of life, and it can be harsh. But those that adapt to that environment definitely thrive there. As we go through and we're working with the theme for the week, so the Vision's Quest is, there's a lot of solitude to that. There's introspection, there's just kind of with everything going on out there, to just kind of take a step back this week, and maybe go and find a place out in nature where you can kind of reconnect, some solitude. I think that taking some time as we go through this crazy kind of turmoil that we're going through, that it's good to go ahead, find that place where you can ground yourself into nature. If you have a question or a concern or a challenge that you're working with, take it out in nature, get grounded and think about it, meditate on it, pray on it. And as you go through the week, just take a couple of hours a day, take a morning, take an afternoon, go sit someplace quietly and just do some reflection, and open yourself. So maybe not think real hard on it, but just kind of see what comes to mind visually, how you feel about it, and just let that feeling have its place. Sometimes we repress things or kind of try to ignore something. That can end up building up over time. And if you're feeling sad about or angry about something, let yourself feel that, and let that that ownership of those feelings and the acceptance of those feelings is okay. For our challenge this week is kind of goes along with the theme for the week. So there's a solitude, and we think about an island. If we go through and take that morning or that afternoon and go out and just kind of tune in to nature a little bit more, the overall pressures that we're having right now, there's so much energy out there, and a lot of it's very hostile energy just before the elections, and it's we should have some release on November 3rd, and I'll get into and explain a little bit more as to why, but up until the elections, things are going to be a little bit on the tense side. So take the time, observe your thoughts and your emotions. The lesson that we're going to be working on is dawn and new beginnings, and with that, it's going back, and it's just real heavy on reconnecting with just the natural world around us. Is calling to us pretty heavy this week. Dawn and new beginnings, waking up in the morning and listening to the world wake up. It's one of my favorite things to do, and just the quietness. I typically get up at 5, but it's staying darker later now. But that transition between the darkness of night and then as the dusk just starts to kiss the sky, and the first few birds that you hear, I absolutely love that in the morning, and why you'll oftentimes see me up and moving around. I'm doing my videos and stuff. A lot of that stuff I am doing right at dawn, and I'm looking out my window and I'm just kind of watching things wake up and start to stir around for the day. With new beginnings, sometimes it's difficult to tell where the old ends and the new begins, that transition between night into the new light of a new day. We want to work a lot on listening to our intuition, and not just observing it, but actually acting on it. But we want to be thoughtful with this because there's a lot of miscommunication going on. And we have been in a bit of a shadow is what we've been working with, because we also have Mercury retrograde, and I'm not going to get into too much detail with that here. That is actually going to be for Tuesday, so I'm going to save that for that. But there's a reason why we're feeling what we're feeling, and we're seeing the hostility on the planet that we're seeing. So anyway, thank you so much for joining. Please do subscribe. This is a very new channel. Yes, funny enough, still working out some kinks as far as, and we'll get into more of the communications and the challenges that have been going on with that, so it does not surprise me that there's been some hit and miss as we get the new channel up and running, but it's getting better every day. So do hit subscribe, and if you have any questions or anything, please do go over to the Etsy page. You can ask questions over there through the messaging. You can also do some other tarot tarot selections. If you have anything specific, let me know as well, and we can go ahead and arrange that. I thank you so much for joining, and thank you, Spirit Guides, for your message today. Thank you.